This, for me, is what self-awareness is. You need to know yourself. We all need to know ourselves well in order to know what we want, in order to know where we want to go, in order to know what we are a yes to and what we're a no to. That's not really an arbitrary process. That's not something that happens by accident just by going through the motions of being an adult. You have to pursue self-inquiry. You have to be willing to consider things. And oftentimes you learn the most by considering, embodying something which seems to be against your values or everything that you stand for. I use this as the very prime example. If you're a Democrat, consider being a Republican. What would your life be like if you were a gun-touting, Second Amendment, anti-abortion rights? If you were in the extreme opposite, and I say the same thing to a Republican who doesn't understand a person who wants the social system to support every single human. There are extremes, and that is such an obvious extreme for an American. So try that on, for example. If you're inclined towards only monogamous relationships and would be game over if your partner cheated on you, explore polyamory. See what happens for you when your partner flirts with someone else and what occurs. What primal force is that triggering? And can you actually be with the sensation of that? And do you understand that often jealousy is the same physical sensation as turn on? That has a learning in it. I have been through the polyamory cycle of my life. Probably I wouldn't ever get into an open relationship again if I was sexually involved with a person. But that's a very informed choice that I've made based on experience in all of the categories. And I love that I am making an informed decision about my life based on my experiences. I don't have anything wrong with the aspects of the life that I have chosen or the aspects of the life that I've experimented with, because they have all taught me something. And when you can have that approach, it's so much easier to be receptive. It doesn't bother me because it's not my life. I'm not making that choice. I don't get triggered when I listen to somebody share their perspective. I might be able to have a conscious conversation with them about, this is my perspective. Okay, that's your perspective. Great. Thank you for sharing. When we stop feeling like we need to control other people's expressions of themselves, life gets a lot easier. And when you can have a conversation like that from receptivity, people are more inclined to change their minds. Because you're not aggressive and you're not attacking and you're not trying to control their ideology, which is a loop that people get stuck in so easily. And so much of getting stuck in that ping pong is a lack of self-awareness, which drives an idea that if somebody proves you wrong, that your identity will die. And actually, that is not the case. But the second someone says a single word, everybody flies off the rails. And it doesn't have to be that way, but people don't have the training or the consciousness, which is what we've been talking about for these last two calls, to hold the sensation of dissonance. And if you can't hold the sensation of dissonance, what you have is a society that is leaning towards creating inauthentic harmony for the sake of avoidance of conflict. And conflict is not bad. It gets bad when people have been avoiding it for a really long time. That's when it causes destruction. And so when you can be in a room with a person who thinks differently than you must be experiencing this if you're married. You've had the experience of having a completely polar opposite perspective on what just happened. Imagine that at a societal level. You live in that society too.